Welcome to the Ethel Merman Show, where we will all talk like Ethel Merman for the next hour. If you don't know who Ethel Merman is,
you'll be great. Gonna have the whole world on a plate.
I'm gonna
Hey,
fist
that
bump
rhymes.
that was fist bump worthy.
Yeah.
But anyway, hi, welcome to the Crafty Boys, where a bunch of cool people sit around drinking beer and talking about life. And over here, we have a special guest right below me, Julian, who is the brewmaster extraordinaire. And we'll be reviewing an East Van brew called Wheel Bite India Pale Ale.
Ooh.
So there we go. I am drinking homebrew. I'm not sure. Who wants to start? Who wants to give us their all for the next beer? Don't all jump up at once.
Well,
All right, fine with me. It is me.
All right, lock it is. Here we go.
Jumbo.
Tell us all about the beer you're drinking off tonight. Thank you, sir.
Jumbo is a product by Railway City. It clocks in at 6.8% alcohol per volume. It is an IPA. International beer units of 68.
Wow.
So it claims that the taste is bold citrus, candied peach. It says that it's warming and staggeringly bitter. Let's try it and find out.
Sounds like my first girlfriend.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Actually, I'm going to tick all of those boxes. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad description of this. So it is an Ontario IPA, which, for whatever reason, the thing in Ontario right now is to use every grain you can think of. So we've got barley, we have wheat, and we have oats. Simcoe, Amarillo, Citra, and Mosaic hops. So we're not. We're going to assume that was something that they thoughtfully balanced rather than just picked everything that they could find. They are out of St. Thomas, Ontario, and I'll be honest and admit that I have no idea where St. Thomas, Ontario is. But it says that it's small batch, and that makes it very crafty indeed. What do I actually think of this beer? I like it. It's not outrageously great or anything, but given my frustration with beers that taste too much like Tang, this one has more of an iced tea kind of a vibe about it. That peach business, they weren't joking. And when you add the bitterness in, it kind of has a little bit of a peach Snapple thing going on.
Okay. A peach Snapple?
Yeah, like not as sweet as Snapple, but you can get a little bit of a tea flavor out of all of that bitterness. And
Cheers to Smuckers.
when you throw in what I will agree is a little bit of a peach flavor in there, the whole thing is refreshing. It's maybe a little bit more summery than the weather will allow in Ontario right now. But this is fine. Quaffable, delicious. And the bitterness is actually very refreshing from as I've said before, this sort of tendency towards trying to make products that taste like Tang. This doesn't have a fruit punch thing going on exactly. It's still fruity, but it's that bitterness that actually makes it actually a very palatable drink.
Very palatable.
Okay.
What size can does it come in, please?
This is a 473 milliliter. Is that a normal size? 473? That seems
It's an
like
American pint.
Is it? Okay. I was starting to worry that was like an idiosyncratic amount of milliliters, but they're going to leave it to the Yanks to fuck up what a pint is, eh?
Exactly. It's some sort of round number of American ounces, whatever that is. No one really knows this. North of the 49th parallel.
That's very true. I got distracted by the back channel. All right, let's move on to who's next. Who's next?
I'll go next. Dave.
Alan,
is
or
all
sorry, Dave is in.
wondering
Now,
what
Dave,
the hell.
you
So,
showed me this the other day.
Oh,
This is a
right.
Barnside Brewing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Gotta say.
it's quite nice, boys.
a coffee
like it.
and rye lager.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. Interesting. Very
That's
interesting.
a recipe that actually I don't think I've encountered before. It's so rare anymore that we get one of those.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I grabbed it, because I thought, well, it's.
I shudder. I shudder to think at how much you paid for that.
I'm trying to remember, but it wasn't stupid.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't as stupid as you might imagine. So okay,
It was only
Barnside
moderately.
Brewing did this one. Apparently, they are based out in Ladner.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, I guess they're kind of basing it on this, old grocery that's out there or something. I have no idea, to be quite frank.
Ladner.
Let's see.
A sad, moldy place where people go to die.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'll read this comment, and we'll discuss moldiness after. Okay. Johnny Lowe came to Canada in 1950. Yes, working on his uncle C.F. Lowe's Ladner farm. He opened his Ladner grocery store in 1963 in Fred Watt's old appliance store, a Ladner institution, for over 50 years. Johnny's Grocer remains a local gathering place hosted by the next generation of the Lowe family. Kind of cool. Says apparently this is part of their heritage series, by the way. When the need arises, a neighbor is there. It's always been that way. Our heritage series honors that community spirit. So, whatever. It's a cool label, actually. I like it. It's
nice package. Nice package.
Sketch, right? Kind of a sketch flavor to the art there. I like. And yeah, hey, flavor wise, I am liking this. There is definitely coffee here.
Is that a 750 ml bottle, Dave?
650.
650? Oh, so it's a bomber. It's a bomber. Yeah, it's a bomber.
It is a bomber. Yeah. It's a 5.5 ABV on
civilized.
This one. So yeah, civilized. Yeah.
Good for pregnant women and children. Mm-hmm.
Well, and for lightweights like me.
Fair enough.
I'll cop to that. Yeah, I like it. I don't know about rye because I don't really know from rye, but coffee, absolutely. I'm just liking the flavor. It's got a nice. I don't know what else am I going to say. It's good stuff. It's interesting.
How would you compare flavor with what you're experienced with in terms of like a typical lager? How is it different?
Better.
Better. Okay. Right, there we are.
This is the thing I like about the craft stuff. Even the shitty craft stuff has something to it that your standard, crap you buy off the shelf that comes from, whatever multinational you want to name. I mean, that's basically like piss water, right? Let's not split hairs here. So even the crappiest stuff, at least is interesting as far as I'm concerned. Again, not having a lot of experience tasting a lot of different kind of beers. For me, it's always interesting to see what people are doing, and generally there's something at least a little tasty about it. Even if you may not like it, it's tasty. You know what I mean? It's got something to it that's interesting. Whether or not it's interesting good or interesting bad, that's up for debate, right? But yeah.
How many did you buy?
Oh, just the one.
One.
There's
Would
too
you
many
buy
beers.
another?
Yes, I would. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
All right.
And it's
well, one
I
at
don't
a
know if
time's
you
good
can
fishing,
tell.
right?
Did you see the bubbles there? It's pretty effervescent.
Yep.
Which is nice. It's not overpowering. It's not this ridiculous.
Is it a lager? Is that what's it called? Is it?
It is.
Yeah, it's a lager.
Yeah, coffee, and here I'll show you coffee and rye lager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess the coffee thing that's definitely non-standard for a lager, right?
Oh,
I
I've seen
suppose
it,
I don't
I've
know.
seen it
That's-
before.
sorry, James Keen. Oh, I'm going to butcher his name again. Thank you for coming back, James. We saw James last week. Who's the new guy? The new guy is Julian. He is actually my neighbor, but also the guy that taught me to make beer. Would you please give James here education as to why the beer is, yeah. Why do we make beer? Because we don't want to do what, Julian?
Well, there's a few reasons why we brew. First of all, everybody in Canada should brew.
All right. But what
Everybody
about
should
this
brew.
whole? What about taxes and buying beer? Like, what is that? What is that all about?
So the myriad of reasons why we should be brewing. Well, first of all, you should brew beer because it's cheaper than buying it. Second of all, you should be brewing beer because it breaks down the monopoly that the government has on the tax on beer.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what if you brew in such small quantities that you actually exceed the cost of store-bought beer. You should brew because it's tax-free. There's no tax on home brew. Therefore, the government wants you to brew. Otherwise, they would tax it. So therefore, you're being a good little Canadian if you brew.
So basically, brew and therefore all will be well. Okay.
Raise your
That's
tiny
good enough
fist
for me.
against the regime. Stop being a Canadian sheeple and brew your own beer.
I have to ask something, Julian.
Okay.
From a technological point of view, do you have a lapel mic on? Is that what
no.
I'm seeing? No.
No, this is a button.
Oh, okay. It looked like a
Holding
lapel
up.
mic. I was like, holy. High tech.
Wow, if Alan was going to be that blown away, I'd bring my lapel mics out because I've got a bunch.
Oh, I'm not. I wouldn't be impressed by you, Shane.
So this question, yeah, well, I know, but yeah, I thought I'd take a chance. Who was the host of the podcast? Like whose account is this stream coming from? I noticed this funny little number, and I want to show all of you. By all means, show us this funny number. I have no idea what you're referring to. Sure, why not? Send it to our email address, the Crafty Boys Podcast at gmail.com, I think is the account. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Hang on. Now that I've said that out loud, I'm not sure. Yeah, the Crafty Boys Podcast at gmail.com. Drop us an email there. And of course, that goes for everybody else. We get very few emails from anybody. But if you want to send us an email, by all means, please do.
I think we may have entered new territory in the notion that somebody took the time to take a screenshot of.
Yeah, exactly. So, Dave, you've covered your beer. Julian, would you like to talk about your beer?
Well, I've got
I'll go back to where I started here.
Here's one of the beers from East Van Brewing, which is, as the crow flies, about 1 kilometer from where I'm sitting now. It was a well-funded craft brewery. This is not a small effort. They had some good investors there. They've got a big brewery. They've got a good brewmaster. This is one of about 7 that they brew, including pilsners, a community lager, hard. This is wheel bite. There's a hard bite pale ale. There's a jasmine rice lager, which I think I reviewed a few weeks back. They've got a professional brewmaster, so it is a craft brewery.
Are we going to take a moment to complain about the label? No, you did.
No.
You've visited that.
This is I don't know if I
Looks
care
very
about the
snake-like.
East Van thing, but this is a beautiful jade colored can with snake graphics on it, and
actually, now that you move it around, I'm starting to see that there is in fact a snake there, and I'm starting to appreciate that is indeed a jade color. Yeah,
this is a beautiful can. This beer is 7% alcohol. This is not for women and children who are currently breastfeeding. Not the children, or both. I don't know, but this stuff is serious.
Judge, right?
This stuff is serious. This is I've had this before, so that's why I'm able to say. And yeah, this is the stuff here that makes men do things they shouldn't do. And
notice the crystal glassware.
Crystal beer should be drank out of crystal times.
this stuff is in the Fat Tug range of beers. You know, this is serious, boys. Pick it up. $5 a can.
I would if I could find it in my neck of the woods, but I have not seen any East Van product over here on the island, at least in Victoria. So, but I'll keep an eye out. Yeah,
I guess we could mail you one.
I suppose.
Canada Post
He's not
delivery
that far away.
on the big rock over there. I think you have postal codes and stuff over there, don't you?
Yeah.
A few of us.
You know what you could do? You could just put it in, like, say, like a plastic, like a big 2-liter plastic bottle. Just put it in there and just set it afloat, and it'll eventually make its way over to me.
That I mean, Julian does have a boat. Do you think your boat would make it over to the island?
Well, the one my new one that I'm getting, absolutely. It's stupid fast. It's ridiculously fast. It's a 17.5-foot boat with 150 horsepower Yamaha on the back, and it is scary fast.
But how much would that cost? How much would that cost in gas to come across?
Well, let's put it this way: it would put a dent in your RRSP contribution one way. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
that is true.
Not just that, you'd probably warm the planet by 0.5 degree on the way there.
Right.
Which I would celebrate by raising my tiny fist against the Justin Trudeau's of this world.
All right. Shane. I think Shane's got the email.
For some reason, James, I did receive your screen capture. For some reason, it's landing in our spam folder. I do notice that you're using the same screenshot software that I do. Well done. But I'm going to show this off to everybody here, just to give you an idea of what James was seeing, because I too am very concerned as to what he found, because I think really ultimately we've been discovered. I mean, the truth about our show is happening. So here you go. Just to let you all know, I'm just going to share this screen here. So here you go. We have been found out. So there you are, boys. All has been revealed. This is the problem that what James is witnessing. He's very, very concerned that this could indeed impact our show. So I'm just pointing that out there, that there is something going on, and James is on the scent. So we better up our game to keep our secrets under lock and key, and to not reveal too much online. So
right,
there you go.
Apparently, I have a very humorous looking face. I think it's just the way it is.
But humorous a bit more, and tell us about the beer you're drinking tonight.
Okay, well, actually, I'm in a quaint little bar in Boston today and streaming from there. So, my first time traveling since COVID and everything, and I was amazed to find that they serve a beer from North Van, Deep Cove Brewing, right here.
Oh, there we are. Yeah.
Yeah. And is
that Norm? I see Norm at the bar there.
No, he hasn't arrived yet. There's nobody here yet. Sam and Diane have gone to the back.
Sometimes you want
as it is, as they do, yeah.
As they do. But anyway, it is a rosemary gin saison. And
Seriously.
One of the reasons why I chose this is because we did talk about recently, what if you were to put, like, say, basil or something, like, in
basil?
in a beer. Not a person.
You said that. You said that.
You know, or maybe I don't know, oregano or something into the mash of a beer.
Mhm.
So that was one of the reasons why I chose this one. It's a rosemary gin saison. It clocks in at 6.5%. And it comes in a 473 ml can. This is what it looks like poured. If you can see that there. It's
Looks like
weird.
pineapple juice.
The transmission here from Boston is kind of weird. The head is thick and creamy. It's got a lot of lacing going on here. It's staying. I actually poured this a while back, and that head is still there. And it's not like sudsy kind of a head. It's like a very thick, creamy head. And then that's what it looks like there. It's unfiltered. And that's a damn tasty beer. The rosemary is definitely there. It's not overpowering. And it's a gin saison, but I don't know what the base, like if it's a pilsner or a lager or what. I'm gonna go
with saison, like
saison?
a type of beer. Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of like a farmhouse ale with
Farmhouse ale. Yeah.
Sour. How sour is it?
It's not sour at all. At least not to me. The gin, I don't know where that's coming into it here.
What does it say in the ingredients list?
Yeah, I'm just looking. I didn't really get a lot of time to sort of
No, I know
do a lot of background on this thing.
I understand.
You know what? It doesn't have an ingredients list on it, but it does tell me to keep it refrigerated, which is important. I need to know that.
I don't understand why you weren't told that at the beginning. Like, it's the rules.
Well, I have
The total
been told.
rules.
It's there on the label. Keep refrigerated. It is really really.
What are you going to do if you don't refrigerate this?
It is actually a really enjoyable beer. I would totally buy this again.
How many did you buy?
I bought one.
Would you buy another?
I think it's a bit of a crime that's in 473 ml tall boys. I think this is something that should be in 355 ml cans sold in 6-packs. This is something that you would have, like, you know, take to a party or something to have a few in a sitting.
You're saying it's sessionable.
Totally. It's very quaffable.
I have to ask this question. Did you just say that we would have a few while sitting in a Civic? Is that what I heard?
No, that's not what I said at all.
Okay. I thought I heard that.
I don't know what I said, but it was not that.
Okay.
Would we be listening to
I
Bohemian
was
Rhapsody and headbanging?
Well, of course. I think we've actually done that.
I'm actually really tempted by the new Civics. Like, like I remember when the Civic came out, it was a rubbish fucking car. It was sort of like something that welfare moms with multiple children drive. now it's like a kind of race car.
I thought Civic was the choice for tuners, man. Like all the kids that do the tuning, they grab
James.
Civics.
I have been tinkering.
Yeah. Because the base model is sufficiently cheap that you can load it up and still afford to buy one. Like, you think about a fully loaded, a fully loaded BMW. Okay, that's gonna be expensive. A fully loaded Audi is gonna be expensive. A fully loaded
Or a Subaru.
Yeah, a fully loaded Subaru.
Yeah, expensive. Yes.
Okay, fully loaded Subaru and fully loaded Honda. We're sort of. I think. I don't know, but you're right. There is a Subaru that I see people fucking turning that thing
Tuning
into this car as well. It's a hot hatchback. I think one that I've seen.
WRX, I think.
I think you're right.
Beautiful cars. I think that's their rally car, actually, is it not? WRX, the two-door version, anyways. I believe.
Yeah. It ain't a shaggin' wagon.
It is not a shaggin'
Yeah,
wagon.
they're not the most roomy things on the road, are they?
No, especially for people of a certain height, not mentioning any names.
Right.
The old
Actually,
technique used to be. Sorry,
Kind of
Alan.
reminds me of that scene from Police Academy where Hightower is learning how to drive, and he learns in a Civic. And he pulls out the front seats. Sits in the back.
Exactly.
I was actually. Oh, sorry.
The old technique used to be where she sat on the passenger seat with the window open and put her right foot on the mirror and her other foot on the dash, and you knelt on the floor in front of her with the seat back. And that was the only way you could do it in a Honda Civic back in the day, if I recall.
I'm glad that you know that.
I'm glad I do too.
A lock barely fits in a Honda Civic, so you know.
That's the point, though. You have to put one foot out the window. It's the only way.
Exactly. Just really quickly, the beer I was drinking tonight is gone. But it was, I got to tell you, it was either this one or this one.
You don't know?
I don't remember. I didn't mark the bottles when I decanted today.
You can't tell from the flavor.
I modified them with more hops, so yeah. But there you go. So
They both look
Dave,
tasty.
we've got a question here. Can you demonstrate a meditation for us? I don't think meditation works that way.
Yeah.
Could you light a
It's
stick?
not like you just drop into it. It's kind of a planned thing.
Could you light a stinky stick?
A stink. Do you
I
have?
think I have some around somewhere, but I don't know where it would be if I had one.
Yes, he drinks more beer. So, boys, it's been a week since we met up. Anything exciting going on? Any? The singing. What is that called?
It's Tibetan singing bowl.
Singing bowl. Yeah.
This is a really, really cheap one. But anyways.
Crisscross applesauce. But anything cool going on? Any beer news that we should be relaying to the masses?
Yes, there is a new brewery in Skidney.
In
Really?
Sydney, BC. What is the brewery?
Unfortunately, I don't know details.
You have failed us, sir.
Oh, big time.
Failed.
But yes, I just, you're asking for like beer news. I'm like, oh yeah, I heard about this. Fairly recently, they opened up. So,
is it like we're talking like it just recently?
fairly recently, like within the last month or two.
Yeah. The only thing I could find about it is that Sydney, BC is apparently opening Small Gods Brewery, hoping to open by April 2022. So there you go. I suspect that's the one you're referring to. Small Gods Brewery. Which, to be honest, very, very happy that there's a new brewery out. Which reminds me, Julian, what the hell is that?
It looks like rabbit shit.
What's the label say?
What is it?
Raw.
Oh,
Raw.
yeah. Those are those. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, right. Hold on. Am I seeing weed or am I seeing a jar full of mushrooms?
This is Bud. This is Nelson Island Bud. I'd just like to offer the same advice as I do on home brewing when it comes to home growing. Justin and the boys might not do very much useful stuff in Ottawa, but they did offer the opportunity for every Canadian to grow my 4 plants, which of course I have done. And so here's the thing. This is one of last year's yields. Here's a liter jar of Nelson
question.
Island.
Are you going to brew that? Are you going to put that into a beer?
Oh,
I'm
wow,
not a big
yeah.
fan. I'm not a big fan of putting non-traditional adjuncts into beer like quinona, oats, oregano, and all this stuff. I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I do like what has been done in recent years with breeding new varieties of hops like Vic Secret and Mosaic and these citrus flavors. I do get that. I love color and shape. I do get that, but I do not find myself that interested in putting coffee and chili peppers and coriander and whatever kind of weird ingredients you're putting in there just because you think you're trying to make some sort of beer that may or may not step outside the box. I guess there's no progression unless you try. I get that, but I'm just saying, raise your tiny fist against the regime, grow your 4 plants, brew your own. Don't be a sheeple. Okay. And by the way, I don't smoke pot, so if you want some, let me know. I'll send you some.
Yeah. So
How tall are we allowed to grow our plants in this country? Is it a meter?
There is a size limit, of course. Yes, there is. In metric, it's 3. It's I think, if I'm not mistaken, that it's 1.5 meters high and 3/4 of a meter in width or diameter. I guess there are limits. It's ridiculous. Legalization of marijuana, recreational marijuana in Canada, is ridiculously Canadian exercise. It's the stupidest thing you've ever seen, with interference from every single province and every shitnik little whatever politician has his little stamp on it. But the fact is, Justin and the boys in Ottawa say you can grow 4 plants. And of course, that's a ridiculous thing, because my 4 plants is not enough, because it's so bad that growing 4 plants, really, if you're a smoker, that's not enough to get you through the season. So it actually forces you to buy from the government store, because you're not allowed to grow enough to supply your needs. But that's typical of a bunch of white guys in Ottawa who've never smoked pot in their lives, making laws about something they don't understand. But that's typical. The fact is, you're allowed to grow 4 plants, and I did.
So how many plants
I think
do we need to be able to grow in order to sustain us through a season?
Isn't chronic is doubtful. He seems like he's stoned most of the time.
That could very well be true.
What was the question about the plants? How many? Oh,
how many plants do you think? Now, this is also for a question for Locke. How many plants would you need to grow to the regulated size that we're allowed to grow to sustain you through a season?
What's a season?
A season, say, I don't know, what, April to October.
You harvest. It takes 6 months to grow pot.
April to October is season. What season is that exactly? Is that?
I am just the summer season.
Is that sprummer?
Sprunumber fall. Sprunumber fall.
Well, look, the point is,
it took last all from sprummertum. I guess.
Sorry, complete virgin in my brain here. I just noticed yesterday that the Great Canadian Beer Fest is on.
Oh, fucking
yeah.
Nice.
Did we talk about this at all?
Yes, we did.
There you go. I've grown too many plants and smoked way too much, apparently, in the last 12 months to function. So that's it. I'm out.
Yeah, I've never been agricultural enough to get into, growing plants. Like the closest I've come thus far. I have a pot plant. It hasn't died yet.
Oh, that's a different kind of pot plant. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I never got into that game, so I really don't know. I do know a few people who did. Apparently, beer are an obstacle. They love this stuff.
Well, here's the point.
Outdoors.
Here's the point.
I'm not talking about a deer or whatever.
When you talk about a season, we're talking about a year.
A full year.
The idea of legalizing recreational marijuana use was the idea that people could grow their own supply. Well, it takes 6 months to grow marijuana. You need a year supply to last you till harvest time the following year.
By season, you mean in the opera subscription sense?
Well, no. What I mean is that the government legalized the recreational use of marijuana by allowing people to grow 4 plants so that you could supply potentially supply yourself without having to buy it from an illegal dealer or some government tax store.
And has it not occurred to you that some plants are better than others?
Well, has it not occurred
All plants
to
are not created equal. That's the sad truth, dude. Like if the plants that you're growing are insufficient for a season, maybe you need to ask what strain you're growing.
maybe you need to ask whether or not it's possible to grow large plants in Canada's climate to a point where you have a yield large enough to last a smoker for a year? And the answer, generally speaking, is no.
Depends on if you're willing to grow inside or if you're trying to do it outside.
Well,
Again,
obviously outside is, well, it's kind of a non-starter in our climate, really. But
some kind of backyard indica kind of, hemp, let's call it, then you'll need to smoke a lot more of it in order to make a proper go of it than if you're growing like some sort of hybrid sativa dominant, white widow badass motherfucker kind of weed, Wouldn't that seem to be right?
Are you suggesting that your garden variety liberal voting Canadian would be reasonably able to grow 4 plants that would supply him with it for a year in any sort of suburban situation?
If we're talking about a chronic motherfucker who's like smoking them like Jay-Z or whatever, then I'm gonna guess no.
I'm talking about your garden variety liberal Justin loving person.
I have no idea. I've never met that person. I don't know. I don't know what that even is. What I know is that there are people who vote liberal because they can't vote NDP and they can't vote for the Reform Party rebranded as the Conservatives.
Ooh, I sensed a tone there, didn't you, Shane? I sensed a tone
I
there.
did. I really did sense a tone.
The tone is I've got no room for so-creds pretending to be reformers, pretending to be fucking conservatives. Nor do I have any appetite for a Canada that has an NDP and a Liberals that are so fucking tied at the hip that they seem like one party anyway. That won't do. We can't fucking have that, can we?
No.
Apparently we can until about 2025.
Look. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not saying there's anything illegal about it because it's all corruption in the first place. The introduction of political parties in the Westminster system was just a matter of bribery. All it is voting in block because you decided that by voting in block you can then offer preferment to whoever gets elected. It's bullshit. It's corruption.
Well, I don't know if it creates corruption.
Of course, if we've accepted the corruption of parties in the first place, that is to say, voting in block for a bribe.
I think what political parties has done is created a lazy electorate.
Finally got a rant from Locke.
Excruciating
rant.
Lazy.
Yes, they don't have to take the time to learn about what each individual candidate has to offer.
It's fucking paradigmatic.
Let's look at this packaged party over here, and I'm just going to vote for that, and that's it.
If somebody is saving your precious discretionary time, that means they're taking your discretion from you.
Mm-hmm. Being a voter means being informed, and being informed takes work and time.
Ooh, we're going to school now. Thank you, Alan.
Keep going. Keep going.
I can't take anybody to school because apparently there's that screenshot of me looking like a complete moron.
Well, this is good. This is very, very good.
That
Oh, by
I
the
gotta
way,
say that. Oh,
could I just, since since we are crafty boys, I could actually add the brewing details of the wheel bite, if you like. There's some
Sure.
oh yeah, let's hear it.
hop and grain details here that I can offer that may or may not be interesting. But so it's Pilsner malt, pale malt, light crystal, flaked oats with Cascade, Amarillo, and Victoria's Secret hops. And the tasting notes are: it's a juicy stone fruit hop aroma with a light malt base, medium bodied, with good carbonation, dry hopped with 3 unique varieties. The beer is brewed for all of East Van to enjoy, which I'm not sure that's a reasonable accolade. And they listen, whatever these sort of liner notes are, East Van's making some good stuff. If you're not, you don't have to be too prejudiced about it. Go down there and go in the tasting room and slam down a few happy hour pints. You'd be all right. That's all I got.
Yeah.
And hey, on that top, I want to bring it back to last week a little bit when Dave and I had the Ultra Destroyer Stout from House Sound, and I was saying that previously, a few years prior, I had their Mega Destroyer Stout, which was the same thing, and that it had mega destroyed me. Well, the Ultra Destroyer Stout, despite it being the same beer, did not. And I had to think about it. And you know why? It's because House Sound has changed the way that they have packaged their beer. So the Mega Destroyer Stout, remember that it was first came out in those 1 liter flip top bottles. Right?
Yeah.
So you're drinking like a 10% beer, a liter of it. And then last week we had a tall boy. So it's a huge difference. It was all volume.
Sorry, boys, just had to pee in a bottle there for a second.
Yeah.
This show is the best show ever created.
It is.
All right. So could we continue for a moment on the theme of raising your tiny fist against the regime, striking one note for freedom and for the lack of. Okay, so we've been through the brew your own rant.
I'm sorry, I'm lukewarm on freedom. Fuck freedom.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to promote it. I'm not saying I've got a perfect definition of it, but I'd like to raise my tiny fist and say that I'm just the same as everybody else, and not the same as anybody else. So So we did that on the little rant on homebrew. Brew your own. Even if you don't drink beer, you should brew your own, right? Even if you don't smoke pot, you should grow your 4 plants, right? Well, here's the other thing that one should have and needs to have right here. And here it is, boys. These days of inflation running where it is. This
What are you making? What are you making? Opium out of Tylenol 3s or something? Oh, what is that?
Oh God, here we go.
Johnson.
All right, boys and girls. For the people who don't know, the Crafty Empire is based entirely on whether or not you have fine silver in your pocket at any time. Julian, would you like to explain to everybody in the group why it is important to have precious metals in your pocket at any moment? Because I guarantee that 99% of the time you walk up to Julian and you say, "Show me your silver," he will pull out some fine silver for you to hold. So, nice. Julian,
nice
go.
Work, actually. That's, yeah. I mean, as a hedge on global instability, like precious metals, what can I say? It's solid, isn't it?
It's complicated, and it's simple at the same time. It's as complicated as the fact that it's very, very difficult to understand the value of precious metals in modern times, especially when, generally speaking, they do not circulate as money anymore.
The value of NFTs.
Well, when it comes to NFTs, I have an easy time
You have one of those
differentiating. Right, because they're computer files, right? You can't put a computer file in your pocket, and you can't put a cryptocurrency in your pocket because it's also a computer file.
Disks.
It's you could put that in. You could put it in your pocket, but it's still a computer file. Good luck spending it. Good luck hoarding it. Good luck, in fact, reading it.
I'm sinking everything I own into Dogecoin.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's doggy coin, isn't it? It's doggy, isn't it?
Whatever. I don't care. It's all the same.
It is. Its bark is worse than its bite. Is all I'm saying. But look, here's the point. Canada, despite all its foibles when it comes to our buck with its mylar and its inflation, our huge debt, our debased coinage, which no longer has precious metals. The fact is, we have one of the world's great mints, and you can drift into any bullion dealer, coin shop, and stack up on all of our money in precious metals, in gold and silver. Gold and silver maple leaf coins are recognized the world over, and they cannot be traced. They cannot be devalued by the government. And the more people who hold gold and silver maple leaf coins outside the banking system, the more we'll be able to raise our tiny fists against the regime, and we will tell the government what our money is worth and not the other way around.
Next week on Doomsday Preppers.
I feel like I should be digging a bunker now.
Okay,
10 ounces of fine, baby.
Y'all see what this is, yeah?
So basically, precious
to-
metals of the future when society collapses.
It's
Hold on.
it's a reason.
What is this? What is this that Locke's holding up for everybody?
That is my
condom?
a thing
Is it a
called.
condom?
It's by my favorite author.
Need further
Pull
information.
tab to open.
This is where you.
It's
This is where you.
it's an aluminum Prince Albert.
It's bigger, so everybody can see what a fundamentally valuable thing this is.
Yep. Pull tab to open. My favorite poem.
Yeah. Do we understand what this is in a junior high school reflection of value?
No.
I
This
don't
is
know.
called a fuck tag. If you have one of these are potentially exchangeable for a fuck. Now,
What?
What,
was I not informed
what
about
high school
this?
did I not go to that I should have been going to?
Has anybody ever managed to collect on one of these? Not
With a woman? Not with a woman, though, right?
That's the fight. That's the theory, anyway. Like if anybody's ever tried it the other way around, I never even heard about it. But the point is, you can ascribe value to just about anything if you can convince everybody to play along. It's all a fucking shell game in that respect.
Not in this case, because this has the weight of history behind it.
Talk weight of history. I went to junior high school, and you know what this is all about. Is that silver actually? Have you ever talked to the service provider and seen if they're willing to take a lump of silver?
Sorry, Julian is showing off more of his silver. Is that gold? When are you going to get to the gold?
Well, here's the thing. I can only reveal so much of my stash due to security considerations in general. I mean, who knows who's watching this? Who knows?
I
They
think
are
it's just
watching.
James.
They are watching.
Evidently, there's a motherfucker out there right now taking screenshots of your mug while you're doing that. So
Yeah.
Exactly right. I've already significantly risked my person, my history, and my future to help you people. I've done all I can. But cheers to that.
James, I gotta say one thing about that particular comment is that reminds me, as Alan and I have brought up this scene in the movie The Terminator many times. Like, I sold a cereal box for $80, and then he screwed it first. You see the scar? Like, that totally reminds me. I don't know why, but that's how it sounded in my head. Oh my god. Sorry, I completely derailed.
I'm going to a new nightclub. I'm just
Tonight?
waiting. I'm waiting in line.
Yeah, it's that
outside right now.
that new place on Pico.
Yeah.
It's the Sting.
Yeah,
It's in the
yeah.
Strathcona.
Bow, 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 bow. Burning in the 3rd degree. Anyway,
hold on. So, what is the current state of the Strath? Like, is it still the same suite of bars that were there before?
Well, I mean, it's still the same bars, but they probably changed names like a million times.
So no more Big Bad Johns?
No. Big Bad John's is still
Big
there.
Bad
It'll always
John's
be
would be
called
big.
Big Bad John's.
Yeah.
Same with the Sticky Wicket.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Whatever used to be the Forge is now what?
I have no idea what it is
Okay.
right now. No idea.
is the
I know-
forge gone?
Okay, well, the Forge.
They've renamed it a billion times.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Forge
true.
is gone like in the 90s, and then it became Legends, and I don't know what it became after that. No idea. I lost track. Now, interestingly, the Sticky Wicket has been, how else to put it, bifurcated, where part of it is the Sticky Wicket, but there's also a club inside the Sticky Wicket that is separate.
Sorry, what?
Like, how is it different? What is it? A dance club?
Yeah. So like, there's like a dance floor in there, and you have to like pass through these bouncers and stuff to get into this area of the Sticky Wicket. And they have like a cover charge and all that kind of stuff, but it's inside the Sticky Wicket. Like, you gotta go inside the Sticky Wicket to get to this nightclubby thing.
And this
That
is now. This
so
is today.
Weird.
Yes.
Does anybody who goes there these days actually know what a sticky wicket is?
I have no idea.
Probably more and more. I think actually that cricket's starting to come up in Canada on the basis of the number of Indians that have moved here.
Well, I mean, the logo of the Sticky Wicket does show a cricket player playing cricket. So, I mean,
Is he an Indian stick? Is he an Indian?
I don't think so.
Oh, not that there's anything wrong with that.
I'm just gonna leave him up there for a minute.
So anyway, boys, yeah, we were talking about something really important. I don't know how to recover from that. Please, somebody save the show. Dave, help! Get in there, man. Get in there.
Come on, Luke Skywalker.
You know what? That kind of reminds me. It's funny that we all thought this was last week, I think. Salacious Crumb.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about characters, right?
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny. I thought of Salacious Crumb, which is quite weird and random. But the funnier thing is that you, Ellen, had the same idea.
Yeah.
But in reality, over the years, I've always been told I look like Luke. In certain.
Well, there was a commenter
in
on
a certain
past
light
stream that used to call you the Quiet Luke or something like that.
True.
What? I never saw this.
Mark Hamill.
The quiet Luke.
Yeah, I've gotten that throughout the years. I look like that I look like Hamill. So I've always found that amusing because I never really thought that I looked much like him, but apparently there's a
I
resemblance.
think you look more like him than any of us do. I think that's
True.
Well, relatively sure, but
yeah.
I remember back in the day. I'm talking preschool, kindergarten, grade 1 sort of realm. We used to play the game Star Wars. So, which basically meant that anybody who knew what Star Wars was, you'd run around pretending to shoot stormtroopers or whatever.
nice.
And I always, at that age, I was always the one who got to play Luke Skywalker, because I was the only kid who at the time had blonde hair in my class. So
Are you sure that that's why?
You know, like it's,
I would assume. Well,
I
if
don't
not,
know.
my
I
hair is
don't know
obviously
that
not
I
blonde anymore, but still.
I don't know that I necessarily understood this about myself when I was a kid, but I've since come to the understanding that if I'm one of, the sort of the canonical Star Wars characters, I'm Chewbacca.
Actually, I agreed with that last week, but I take it back. You
Would you be willing to make the sound of Chewbacca now, please?
you are Christopher Lee. Totally Christopher Lee.
Yeah, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Christopher Lee while playing with Charlemagne. You are going to all die this evening. And then the gods will come down and resurrect you to only kill you again. Like that's the very poor impression of Charlemagne, but there you go. And I'm so happy that Christopher Lee got to do those albums, because I was kind of sad that he passed away a few years back. And because I was always excited about his Christmas message on his YouTube channel, which he did for about 2 or 3 years. And but then of course he passed on. Oh shit! I just about dropped Crystal on the ground. That would be bad. And then of course learning that he did these heavy metal thrash album things. I mean, I gotta say, Christopher Lee, of all the performers in that sort of Hollywood system and whatnot, was able to really harness something magical. He did everything.
But
it's like, hey, do you want to do a heavy metal album with us? Yes, I do. Let's do this.
He didn't come from Hollywood. He came
from
Hammer Studios.
Good point. Hammer Studios was a very different and unique beast. I was going to say Alan Arkin, who played
when it wasn't obvious that all film product comes from America.
True.
I don't necessarily think that's a true statement, Locke.
So anyway, Alan, you were about to say.
I was going to say that Julian reminds me of, I think his name was Beauregard from The Muppet Show. Beauregard.
I'm telling you this without a word of lie.
He didn't talk like that. He did not speak like that. I promise you.
Let me find him here, because I know exactly who you're talking. Yeah, there we go. There he is. And for those who don't know what the Muppets are, which I'm sure there are
who doesn't know what the Muppets are? Maybe James Quinoa, because he's too young to know. Go to bed, James.
Possible. Go to bed, James. It's late. But anyway, so here you go. So this is who we're referring to. Oh my, that's a really small picture. But anyway, this is the individual in question, and hopefully Julian recognizes him, because there you are. So enjoy Beauregard. So Beauregard was the ultra strong janitor. and because he could pick up anything. And in this photograph, he's got an anvil, but that was kind of his shtick. He cleaned up the theater, and every so often somebody would ask him to move something, and he would move it like, a piano, and he'd use his pinky to move it, or his penis, or whatever. But he was able.
I don't think I ever
move
remember
heavy.
that episode.
Exactly. I think. Oh, actually, that was Muppets Tonight. Yeah, sorry, that was the adult one. But yeah, Beauregard was a cool guy. I gotta, to be honest, I kind of wish that there was an adult Muppets show going right now. I know they've had a few kicks at the can. The brand new Fraggle Rock, I think, starts very soon, which was filmed entirely in Calgary. By the way,
Say fucking what?
I believe it's Netflix. I could be wrong on that, but I
Shutting
believe it's
Calgary.
Netflix. Has partnered. They partnered with Jim Henson's studio to do another Dark Crystal thing, but they also have been doing some other. They're trying to revive the Muppets, I think, in a lot of ways. And the Muppets, one of the popular shows was Fraggle Rock, back in I think the late '80s, early '90s, and so that show was filmed in Calgary. It could still be. It might be filming right now, but essentially they built the entire set as as close as possible to the original one and all this kind of stuff. Added some flair to it for modern sort of stuff. But yeah, it's dropping. I think later this year. I seem to recall in the fall.
Calgary actually had some natives that were pretty significant in the development of puppet
and that's.
And the stilt work and that kind of, there's the green fool.
And this is actually the big thing with why they filmed it there, is that apparently a lot of the original people, like the production people that actually worked on the original show, retired to Canada, and this is where some of them actually live. So they
But Calgary itself has an enormous footprint actually on the puppetry scene, thanks to Ronnie Burkett, who he used to win awards like regularly going to the Edinburgh Festival. The Green Fools did the sort of the stilt side of that kind of exaggerated sort of form of theater where it's sort of like puppetry or whatever, where you're making monsters and small things and all kinds of illusions that depend upon practical effects in a live scenario rather than something digital or whatever. And the art of practical effects, the art of creating a stage rather than just a digital cinematic illusion, because most cinematic illusions don't use rotoscopes anymore. It's all digital now. That focus on the craft of being able to carry off that type of magic, that type of puppetry, that type of stage, it's increasingly rare. And I think Calgary is one of the few places that actually cultivated it sort of, through the 90s into the, the noughties, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. The early 21st century.
Well, cheers to the early 21st century.
Cheers to the early 21st century. My beer's all
I remember it well.
Same. My beer's
days.
I think either you're not like me or you're lying. I don't remember the early 21st century. I was bombed out of my skull.
Yeah. On
I
Canadian
remember
whiskey.
having to deal with Y2K back in the day.
I know, my computer nearly didn't make it.
Why?
What
But
happened?
luckily,
Did it explode?
no, the date was going to cause it to explode when it turned over, but then the Russians came on board and said, we're not worried about Y2K because we haven't had any problems up to now. So then I knew everything was going to be okay.
Well, there you are.
On that note, boys and girls, we've been streaming for about an hour, but that's okay because we'll be back next week around the same time. Please do tell people about the show. James, thank you for coming by again. This is like the second or third week in a row, so cheers out to you, man. And definitely invite people to come along. And we also have, of course, our library of... We've been doing this show since, I believe, February of 2015. 1914, yes. It's been going for that long, and we're aiming to get to the next milestone, which is 150 years. So don't forget to tell people about the show. We are all vampires, and we drink beer and talk about shit. So thank you all for coming by. Julian, thank you for coming by. As